Welcome to COIS2520, Professionalism and Ethics in Computing. This is Technical Communication, a Practical Approach, Chapter 4, Organizing Information. Organizing information. We're going to talk about the importance of organization, the 3 principles of organization, ABC format for documents, tips for organizing sections and paragraphs, and organizing digital documents. Importance of organization. Organizing information has been named as the most important topic for any undergraduate technical writing course. Poorly organized documents cost time and money throughout all stages of the writing process. When a writer doesn't plan the structure of a document, that writer wastes valuable time trying to decide what to include, what not to include, how to divide the information into proper and meaningful sections, and how the document will focus on the reader's needs. The supervisor that receives that document wastes further time trying to get the original writer to revise it to something more meaningful and more organized. And finally, at the end of its life, a poorly organized document wastes the time of the reader. The reader may not understand the point, they may not get the information that they need, and they have to wade through a bunch of information trying to make sense of what it is that they are supposed to be understanding. In many cases, the reader will not go through that task and will just set aside the document, wasting further time and money. There are 3 possible options for organizing information for the technical expertise of a mixed technical audience, but we recommend one. The first option is to organize the information for technical readers. So only technical readers are going to be able to understand what it is you're writing about. Another option is option B, where the lowest common denominator approach is taken, where the organization of the information is for less technical readers. So the people that are least technical are the ones that are targeted, which leaves a big gap for the experts and the operators. Option C is what we prefer. We're going to teach you to write technically for mixed readers. We're going to encourage you to organize documents so that all readers, both technical and non-technical, get what it is they need from the document. 3 principles of organization. Write different parts for different readers. The longer the document is that you're preparing, the less likely anyone's going to read it from the beginning to the end. Generally, people will do a quick scan and they'll work their way through the easy to read sections like the executive summaries, the introductory summaries, introductions, tables of content, conclusions, and recommendations. They are going to pay special attention to the beginning and ending sections, especially for documents that are longer than a page or 2. And they're also going to pay attention to illustrations. The next step is going to be a focused search. They're going to go directly to the parts of the document that give them the information that they are looking for. To find that quickly, they look for navigation devices like subheadings, listings, and white space in margins to guide their reading. We will talk about page design in Chapter 5. And then there's the short follow-up. Readers are going to return to the document as time permits to read or reread important sections. Your job as the writer is to write in a way that responds to this nonlinear and episodic reading process of your audience, meaning that they're going to jump around. They're not going to start at the beginning and read through to the end. They're not going to read it all in one sitting. So you should direct each section to those in the audience that are most likely to read that particular section. The level of technicality as you move from section to section should change, and that should meet with the needs of each section's specific readers. On one hand, your managers and general readers are going to favor less technical language, and they're going to depend more heavily on overviews in the beginning of documents. The experts and operators are looking for more technical jargon. They're going to pay more attention than others to the body sections in the document. Of course, you're always going to be walking a thin line in designing different parts of the document for different readers. Technical language and other stylistic features may change from section to section, but your document must be coherent as a single piece of work. Common threads of the organization, theme, and tone must keep it from appearing fragmented or pieced together. The second principle, emphasize beginnings and endings. In contrast with fiction, where the writer drops hints all the way through and generally will lead up to a resounding conclusion, people that are reading technical information want to know where to find the data that they're looking for. They want to find that information in predictable locations and not have to search for it. The first choice locations that they're going to go to are the beginning of the entire document, the beginnings of the document sections, and the beginnings of paragraphs. The second choice is at the end. The ending is a slightly less desirable location than the beginning because it's less accessible, but some readers are going to inevitably go to the last part of the document first and look for the information they want there in the end. By emphasizing the beginnings and endings, you're responding to the reading habits and the psychological needs of readers. At the beginning, they want to know where you're headed. They need a roadmap to understand the rest of that passage. If you don't provide something important in the beginning of a paragraph, in the beginning of a section, or at the beginning of a document, readers will start guessing the main point themselves. It's in your best interest to direct the reader to what you consider the most important in what they're about to read, rather than to encourage them to guess at the importance of the passage. At the ending, readers expect some sort of wrap-up or transition. Your writing shouldn't simply drop off. What we are talking about here is a top-down pattern. It seems very logical from the reader's perspective, but is frequently ignored in technical writing. The reason it's ignored is there's a big difference in the way you conduct your research and your fieldwork and the way your busy readers expect you to convey those results to them in a report. You would naturally move from data to conclusions and recommendations when you're doing your technical work, and many writers think that they should do the same approach when they write the document. Their reasoning for this is that the readers want and need all the supporting detail before being confronted with the conclusions and recommendations that are a result of all that data. Unfortunately, that reasoning is wrong. Readers want the results placed first, followed by the details that support your main points. Of course, you're not going to give your complete conclusions and recommendations at the beginning. A reader is going to want and expect a brief summary of them, not them in their entirety. This overview provides a framework within which readers can place the details presented later. So readers of technical documents want to know who done it at the beginning and not wait through and build suspense. Principle 3, repeat key points. We know now that different people focus on different sections in a document. Sometimes, in fact, no one actually reads the entire document carefully. A manager may have time only to read a summary. Technical experts may skip the lead off and go right into the meat of the technical sections. So these varied reading patterns require a redundant approach to organization. In other words, you must repeat important information in different sections for different readers. Based on the text example, where you're an M Global employee in Denver and are writing a report to the University of Colorado for choosing sites for different athletic fields. You've examined 5 alternatives. You recommend in your report one site for final consideration. Your 25-page report compares and contrasts all 5 alternates according to the criteria of land cost, nearness to other athletic locations, and relative difficulty of grading the site and building the required facilities. Given that context, where your recommendations should appear in the report, the 5 likely spots are in the executive summary, in the cost section in the body, in the location section in the body, in the grading/construction section of the body, and in the concluding section. We know that few readers are going to read straight through the document, so they're going to skip to the section that's most interesting to them. So you need to have that information in each of those sections so that you have each of the readers understanding what your conclusions are. You may be concerned about readers that actually read the entire document and whether they'll be put off about having the points repeated throughout. They're generally not. The strategic repetition of a major finding or a conclusion or a recommendation gives helpful reinforcement to readers. They're always searching for an answer to the so what question as they read. This is no different than fiction and nonfiction. Writers of both genres are telling a story. The theme of the story must reappear periodically to keep readers on track.